right, so I'm here to explain the rest of the assignment. So just as a recap, yesterday or earlier today, you finished page 1, which was assigning letter symbols to represent traits 1 through 23. And so 23 traits or physical appearance factors of yourself, and you've picked the symbols accordingly based on what you thought you had. Page 2 is all about what you believe or your parents to have, so their skin color all the way down, of course, for the same traits, so 1 through 23. And for mom, you would choose these letters, for dad, these. So page 3 is where we're at now. So, but just to recap, you know your own traits and you're claiming your parents' traits as well, whether they be dominant or recessive, for 23 different characteristics. Here we go. Let's look at this. It says copy each of the alleles from page 1 and circle below. So you go to page 1, which was your own traits, and you circle which letters you had. So it's a little bit of extra copying, but you know, suck it up, look at page 1, and copy these down. It's simple, just a little time consuming. Once you've circled all these letters, you're good. All 23 of them, right? And now the next one is, this is based on your parents. So this is where you need a penny, because given a certain situation, you may need to flip a coin. So a penny or whatever coin you might have in your pocket. It says, if you have circled, well, let's make this a little better. If you have circled a recessive allele in the column on the left, then circle the corresponding lowercase letter below. So for any of these traits right here, if any of your own personal traits happen to be recessive or lowercase letter symbol, then you automatically over here choose the recessive one as well. So if you said you were lowercase s for that first trait here, you would automatically choose the lowercase s in this category here. All right, but here's where the coin comes in. If you circled a capital letter on page 2, flip a coin for the rest of the alleles. So any trait here where you had circled a dominant trait, so let's say here, let's say that on the big E here, the dominant trait E here, you claim to have that dominant trait for yourself. If that's the case, then you need to flip a coin for that trait. If it's heads, you copy the letter from your dad's column, and if it's tails, you copy the letter from your mom's column. So for the E here, you'd say, okay, it was dominant, so I need to flip a coin and choose dominant E or recessive E for the parents. So you flip the coin. If it's heads, you go with your dad's column, and if it's tails, you go with the mom's column. Okay? Simple enough. All right. And then the final one here is, it says your gametes or gamete. Now, this is basically sperm or egg. If you're playing the role of a lady, it'll be referring to your eggs. So even if you're a dude, suck it up, and you're going to pretend you have eggs, because this is a partner activity where you're going to share your egg or your sperm with the person next to you, because you're making a baby with them. That's right. This is a very adult lesson. All right, so anytime you see the words gametes, just know you're talking about sperm or eggs. And you have to agree with your partner and just handle it, have a little fun with it, but you're going to pretend to either be the lady or the guy in the relationship. I know that's hard to swallow, so be careful, move forward, and don't be offensive. All right, so to do this, let's see, it says both of the columns to the left are your genotype. So here and here, both of these columns, this column and this column, represent who you are. Now, when you're doing when you're making gametes, when you're making eggs or sperm, you only have the choice of choosing one of the letter symbols. So even though you might have a dominant S here and a recessive S here, in an egg or sperm, you can only have one of these. You have to choose. So in order to do that, it says, flip a coin once again to determine which allele from your genotype, that's the genes you have, goes into your gamete below. So if you flipped a coin, let's say heads is from the left column and tails is from the middle column. Okay, so if you flip a coin and it's heads, you would choose whatever symbol you have on this side, whether it was a dominant or recessive S. trait. If you flip a coin and it's tails, you choose whatever you chose from the middle one, right? From your parents. All right. Once you get there, you then are this column. Once you fill it out all the way down, and you got to flip a coin for each of these for the gamete. So you're going to flip a coin 23 times for this thing. Once you get to the very bottom, you officially know what all the genes are that would be found in your sperm or egg. All right. At this point, you would be grouping up with your partner, and you would be sharing with them either your male gamete, the sperm and the genes that come with it, or you'd be providing them with your egg trait, whatever you had for S, H, all the way, all 23 traits, right? So one of these columns will be your partner. So this could be you. This is going to be your partners. And again, we're role playing here. We're pretending that one of you is a dude, one of you is a gal. So for you, you're going to circle right here what you have and show your partner or tell them. And then your partner would do right here. So your partner's gametes here. And then what you need to do is so if you're, let's say for example, you were dominant or capital S, you would put capital S here. And let's say your partner also said capital S, then you would be capital S, or dominant S right here. Now the last thing to do is, right here, for the phenotype, is what does it look like if somebody inherited a dominant S, or two capital S's? What would they look like? That's what phenotype means. Phenotype means appearance. Genotype means just what is the gene you have in you. But what does the gene make you look like? Well, that's the phenotype. Let's look real quick. Let's look at our example. Let's pretend that you had a dominant S and your partner had a dominant S. What would that look like? So we go to page 1 to decide. So it would be skin color, and you'd be saying, well, your baby's going to be dark. So that would be your phenotype, brown or dark skin. So right here on phenotype, so you would put dominant S, brown or dark skin. And then you do that for H. I'll show you one more time. So if it was H, let's pretend this time that you had a lowercase h, or recessive H, and your partner had a dominant H. So you'd put a big H here and a little h here to represent the two traits that each gamete or sperm and egg donated. So dominant H, recessive H. But what would that look like? So let's look. We go back to page 1, and we look at the H's. And that would mean your child would have black or brown hair. Wonderful. You repeat this process until you have all of what that baby would look like. And for each time you do it, you got to take what you circled in your gamete and what your partner circled, and each one needs to go on each blank. And then you go back to page 1 to list what it would look like. What that gene makes you look how, or in what way would you look with those genes or traits. All right, so once you're done with that and you get all 23 characteristics down, and the last one, of course, is gender. So this isn't a gene, this is actually chromosome. So is your kid a male or a female? And after that, you both can separate that time. You don't have to work together as a team anymore. And use this would be the top forehead of your baby. And you draw on their hair, use color as needed to represent the traits properly, but you would draw your child. And feel free to work with your partner to decide the name of this beautiful baby. And have some fun. All right, good luck. And that's the end of the assignment, drawing the traits that were selected between the sperm and egg. So you got to try to draw them as best you can. When you're drawing them, just remember, if you're trying to remember what they look like, you can always go back to, let's see if I can get it here. Yeah, sorry for that delay. Okay, so if you want to remember what the traits look like so you can draw them, you go back to the original link on the Google Classroom assignment, and you can go from 3 through 9, and you have the drawn representations of what it would look like. So in order to draw the baby, you got to look at these pictures, kind of remind yourself, what does each trait look like? If you come into any trouble and you're not able to find the trait you need, and none of these traits in the pictures, the phenotypes of these traits, they don't have what you need, just come talk to me. Okay, good luck.